Hey, Bills Mafia. You found Bills by the Numbers, where we let the stats tell you where the Bills are at. We're presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more. On the way, what is most different about the 2024 edition of the Buffalo Bills, and how could it best help the team's fortunes this season? What should be expected from Buffalo's two new play callers on offense and defense? And we'll have our one burning question. Hey, will the new kickoff play truly be dynamic? I'll tell you, I'm not going to bet on it being dynamic, but happy to have you along for the ride here on Bills by the Numbers. Bills Wall of Famer Steve Tasker, Bills insider Chris Brown with you, and the season opener is finally upon us. So it's time to take our last look at what the Bills are bringing to the table this season in these three things. Thing number one, what is most different about this 2024 edition of the Bills, Steve?
I think it's going to you have to point to the wide receiver room, with Khalil Shakir being the only guy back. Even you can point to the defensive front, but the front four guys have been here, even though the rotational guys behind them might be different. The secondary, you got three guys. Most of those guys have been here for a year or two anyway, although like Hamlin, Rapp weren't starters last year. They're still in the building. None of the wideouts were even in the building.
Right.
So except for Khalil. So I think that's where you start. Certainly there are a ton of other things that are different about it. Every year has its differences. Every team is different. People tend to think when they see the same players as stars that the team is vastly the same. It's not. It never is. This one looks different.
Yeah.
And I think, but you got to start with the wide receiver room as being the most different.
My perspective is a little more broad. For me, the biggest difference is youth. There was a defined and purposeful youth movement this offseason. They knew they were going to have to bite the bullet on the cap, especially when they traded Stephon Diggs, and that meant they had to get younger and get more affordable salaries on the roster, and that's usually rookies, first, second-year players. And they've done that in short order. And this might be one of the youngest rosters that the Bills have had in the McDermott era. You probably have to go back to 2018, 2017 to find a roster younger during the McDermott Bean era than the one the Bills are putting on the field this season. Thing number two, how could what is most different best help the team's fortunes this season?
The wide receiver room, there's a couple of ways, and I like what you said about the youth. As far as the wide receiver thing, without a defined number one, you can let it evolve into itself. If Keon Coleman comes out and knocks it out of the park, he can evolve into the number one.
Yeah,
and it happens organically. You don't have to manufacture. You don't have to force feed the ball to Kincaid or force feed the ball to Khalil Shakir. You can let the targets take you where they will. I think that's a plus for Josh in this offense. I think it frees him up to, hey, if it's a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, you can throw the football and throw it anywhere you want. Nobody's begging for targets. Nobody's expected to catch the ball. The defense has to play you honest. And the Bills have guys in Kincaid, in Khalil Shakir, in Coleman, and Samuel who are going to rise to they're going to be well able to be the guy on a 3rd and short to catch a quick pass, make something out of it, or just get the first. I think this team is really going to be difficult to get off the field in first down. Now, also, one of the other things what you're thinking about the youth is that younger, generally speaking, not written in stone, but generally speaking, you stay healthier, you recover faster, and you're more athletic.
Right. That's the point I was going to make. The youth could serve this team best by making it a more athletic, faster team on offense and defense. And I know people are going to say, well, Keon Coleman didn't run a fast 40 time. His game speed is faster than that.
It's
readily apparent when you watch him play.
It's faster than Gabe Davis, the guy who left.
Yes. So I think that's how the youth best helps the team. And to be honest, I think this draft class is going to help this iteration of the Bills more than many of the previous draft classes in terms of how deep it goes. I mean, Ray Davis is going to get playing time, and probably right away. Keon Coleman is going to get playing time right away. Dwayne Carter is going to be in the 8-man rotation on the defensive line every single week as long as he's healthy. And Cole Bishop could matriculate his way into the lineup by the time we get to week 6, 7, or 8.
That's right.
So that's your top 4 picks right there. We haven't even talked about Javon Solomon or Cedric Van Pran Granger if there's an injury somewhere. So I think this draft class and its youth is going to contribute more than previous draft classes for this roster. Thing number 3, what is the biggest noticeable absence from this year's roster that may raise a bit of a concern for you as the team begins the 2024 campaign?
It's Poyer and Hyde. I mean, those two safeties. You got DeMar back there. You've got Taylor Rapp back there. Certainly guys that are experienced. And DeMar, let's not forget when DeMar, 2 years ago when he had his incident on the field and was injured, he was the 3rd safety in that year. He wasn't just Hyde or Poyer's backup. He was the 3rd guy to go.
Hyde was out with a neck injury.
But in those 2 years subsequent to that, when he came back last year, he has been taking more and more reps in this defense, and certainly through training camp, he's more ready and more developed than he was at that point of his career. So but those 2 guys being out of the lineup, particularly on opening day. Now as we've talked about on the Daily Show, those guys were in and out of the lineup a lot in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they were written in stone every week anyway. But I think Hamlin and Rapp starting at safety is probably the biggest.
And what we should not
absence.
overlook is the fact that last year, Rapp and Hamlin were the second-team safeties running in practice. So they've lined up with each other
Right.
for the better part of a calendar year. So it's not like you got 2 new guys out there that are new to each other. They might be new starters for the team, but they're not new to each other. And I don't think that should be lost on this. And I would say the concern that I have is the lack of experience. But sometimes change can be good. And if you think about the playoff history of the team, if you have a great collection of all of these guys that have stumbled in the playoffs, I think it can have a psychological effect on you. I think having some more young players in the mix now, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so I think they go into the playoffs, the youth on this roster, free and easy. Nothing to lose because there is no past narrative for them. And those might be the guys that deliver the biggest plays and help you win.
I was asked this last week in an interview about what my advice to this group of Bills would be from the old guys back in the day who, we got our heads caved in 4 straight Super Bowls. I think we were never able to do that, to play like, I'm just going to show off. I don't care what happens. I'm going to go. I'm going for it. Every play, every opportunity, I'm taking. I'm not going to worry about it. We were never able to do that. That would be my advice to this iteration of the Bills, and the youth serves that well.
Yeah. We go from these 3 things to 2 new play callers, and offensive coordinator Joe Brady, who called the last 7 games and 2 playoff games last season, along with new defensive coordinator Bobby Babich, who will be calling plays on defense. What should be expected from these 2 men and how it could alter the look of Buffalo's offense and defense? Let's start with Brady and the offense.
Brady in the offense, I think we got an idea of where it was headed last year. And I think, too, Brady was not afraid to take the ball out of Josh's hands in order to get a defense to adjust to that. Defenses had to bear up in the second half of last season. They knew they were going to get a belly full of the run game, and it really took the starch out of their secondary. And that sounds crazy, but their secondary really had to pack it in. And they just didn't know if it was going to be run or pass. In the passing league, the Bills ran it 52% of the time coming down that stretch. That's a lot. It was 60-40. And that's a significant change. So I think that is the difference in Joe Brady, and I think that's what he brings to the table. His willingness to say, listen, you're going to have to play it honest with us. If you play it honest, you can't beat us. If we don't beat ourselves.
I think also we should expect diversification of this offense from the standpoint of personnel groupings and the pecking order of the progressions. I mean, previously, it's no secret, Stephon Diggs was very often progression 1 in just about every play concept they had, and everybody knew it. Now, I think progression 1 in a lot of these play concepts could be a different guy, like most of the time.
From series to series, yeah.
And I think that makes this offense more unpredictable by nature. So you're trading in a go-to guy for unpredictability. And I'm very curious to see how well that functions and works and is executed by this offense. I know we've had this discussion about, much like Jordan Love outlined with his offense, he doesn't have a per se true number one, but he's got a bounty of targets and weapons. And I think Allen has a similar situation here, and I think it's just going to allow him to play the play instead of force-feeding the ball. Babich is running the defense. How do we anticipate that might look? Different, if at all?
At least a little different. I don't know if it's a complete unknown. We don't know. Plus, he's not only is he calling this defense, he's calling this defense without Matt Milano in it and 2 new safeties. That is the great unknown of this team, is what the defense is going to look like with Bob Babich calling the defensive signals and this roster.
Yeah.
You change the roster significantly in the back end and in the front in the rotation, and you change the play caller.
Yeah.
It's like this is a totally new defense, and it'll have a different personality. Now, even though they're using the same words, making the same calls, all of that, it is a great unknown. And it may be that we could never tell the different style or different type of defense because it may be just subtle differences.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. I really don't. I don't think the Arizona Cardinals do this week for the Buffalo Bills coming into this game. There's no way you can tell me they were running anything other than vanilla defensive fronts. They were pass rushing, staying in their lanes.
Yep.
4 guys on 5 guys on the offensive line. Let's go. And that's how the whole thing went in the preseason. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know what Bob Babich is going to have this defense looking like.
I think if you look at his history and knowing he's worked under Sean McDermott for the better part of 12 years, I mean, it goes even beyond his time here with him now entering its 8th season. I think he subscribes to a lot of the same things that Sean does. And what we saw from Sean calling this defense last year was more aggressiveness, more mixed coverage, more unpredictability to create splash plays. His team was 4th in the league in sacks last year. They were in the top 5 in takeaways. I think Babich wants to continue in that vein. To your point, it won't look exactly the same, but I think the end game and the end goal is the same. They want splash plays in this defense.
Sure.
If it means giving up 50 more yards a game, but they get 2+ turnovers in 12 of their 17 games, they're going to take it.
Right.
And that's how I think it'll be the same, even though it may not look identical. We pivot to the numbers game, where Steve will be quizzed on home opener history for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, no.
Here we go. Question number 1. What was the largest margin of victory for the Bills in a home opener?
I'm going to – that's a good one.
Just need the point differential.
Yeah,
I don't need the
I know what it means.
team.
I know what it means. I'm going to go back to what was it in 20? I'm going to go. It's probably not enough. I was going to say the Rams game 2 or 3 years ago, 21 it was, 3 touchdowns. Do they know? They know the answers about that?
Oh yeah, they've got the sheet.
Oh.
You could probably buy one of those guys off and get the answers before you even take the number game test.
I'm trying to think back, even back into the day when I 31.
It's not 31.
Bills Patriots 31-0.
That is not the highest.
Oh. Was it during
Your
my time?
team had a 40-7 win over the Rams, which was a 33-point victory. That was number 2. Number 1 was just 2 years ago. The home opener against the Tennessee Titans, Monday Night Football, 41-7. Remember the Reggie Gilliam touchdown, and they had a couple other.
Oh, I'm looking right at it.
2022, 41-7. That was the home opener, not the season opener.
I'm sorry.
34
you
points.
Make that clear. Sorry. Home opener.
Yeah, so 34 points is your answer there. Happened just 2 years ago. Question number 2. What opponent does Buffalo have the most home opening wins against in club history? Should be able to narrow this
New
down
York
pretty quick.
Football Jets.
That would be correct, Steve. Well
Hey! I can't believe that. Whoop!
Yeah, give him a ding for that one.
Give me a ding.
7 career home opener wins
I
against
know,
the
we-
Jets. Here's the amazing
We
thing.
play him a ton.
Here's the amazing thing. The Bills' career record in home openers against the Jets, 7-8.
Really?
Yeah, that stunned me. Stunned me. Question number 3. Have the Bills ever tied in their home opener? Yes or no? You got a 50-50 shot here.
Since you asked the question, I'd say yes.
And you would be correct. They tied the Kansas City Chiefs in the 1963 opener, 27-all. Len Dawson threw a tying 2-point conversion to Chris Burford late in the fourth quarter to eke out the tie.
Gagged me. That's when they stopped. That's
Can
when
you imagine?
Cool.
Just think about this, Steve. You're all pumped up for the season. It's the home opener. Let's go! And it's a tie.
Gag.
I mean, that would go over like a fart in church. Holy cow.
That's bad.
Although you might take it over a loss. In any event, question 4. When was the Bills' last shutout victory in a home opener?
When was that? Bills.
What are we talking about?
31-0 Patriots. What year was-
2003? Is that the one you want?
That's what I want.
That would be correct. Tom Brady threw 4 interceptions, one of which was returned by Sam Adams, 37 yards for a touchdown. The only other Bills shutout win in a home opener, 1981 against the Jets, and the very same scoreline, 31-0.
Oh, nice.
Your final question, have the Bills ever been shut out in a home opener?
Oh, this guy has had to have. I'd say yes, they have been.
Yes, it has happened,
Yeah,
unfortunately. It's
yeah.
happened twice, and by the same opponent. The hated Miami Dolphins, who shut out the Bills 13-0 in 1977 in Buffalo's home opener, and then again 12-0 in 1983. Uwe von Schamann with 4 field goals for the only scoring in the game. Is that unbelievable?
That's as bad as a tie.
Uwe von Schamann.
Uwe
Hello.
von Schamann. Good for him.
All right, good addition to the numbers game there. Bills fans, get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Just download the app today to play any way you want. Plus, with live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started. Best of all, you get paid your winnings fast. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Buffalo Bills. We turn now to our one burning question. What will be the biggest surprise development we get from the Bills this season? Could be an individual, could be a side of the ball, could be something with coaching. What do we think?
Biggest surprise development, I think they'll be the #1 scoring offense in the league.
Woo! Okay. And you say that because?
I got a lot of faith in these guys. I think
Yeah.
they're really going to be good.
Okay.
If they stay healthy, they're going to be really hard to get off the field. They've got a great red zone package. Always have with Josh. Josh is that X factor when he just tuck the ball under his arm on a passing play and barrels his way in. He buffaloes his way in.
#1 in third down offense the
Right.
last 2 years.
And I think that's going to continue. I think it's going to lead the league in first downs, lead the league in third down conversions, and lead the league in red zone efficiency, and they're going to be the highest scoring offense in the league. That's the bold prediction. That's
My biggest surprise development, Greg Rousseau is going to have a 12-sack season.
All right.
I think he's going to stay healthy this year finally and just put it all together. That's my surprise development.
Okay.
And I think he obviously leads the team in sacks with that figure. Our closing figure deals with the 2 quarterbacks squaring off in Buffalo's season opener. Since 2019, Josh Allen and Kyler Murray ranked 2nd and 3rd in rushing yards by a quarterback. 29.80 for Allen, 24.48 for Murray. They also rank 1st and 3rd in rushing touchdowns by a quarterback over that span. Allen with 45, Murray with 26. Lamar Jackson, obviously, the quarterback with the most rushing yards since 2019 with 4,563. That's all for this edition. Subscribe on your podcast platform of choice so you know when the next episode is out, because when you need to know about the Bills, you need to check Bills by the numbers. For Steve Tasker, I'm Chris Brown. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week, everybody.